in 2025, I hiked 10,070 miles.
I've done such a good job.
I started hiking on January 1st in Key West, Florida. My plan was to do the border-to-border calendar year Triple Crown. So I was gonna walk from Key West all the way up to the Appalachian Trail and then tag the Canadian border and do the PCT and then the CDT after that. Over the last handful of years, it's definitely becoming more popular for hikers to do 1 or 2 Triple Crown trails in 1 year. So I think as things are growing and people are just trying to push their limits and their boundaries, it'll be nice to give you some advice today on how I managed to hike 10,000 miles in 1 year and just exactly how you can walk through that. First things first, you have to start planning your hike. I'm typically the type of person on a long trail who would say, if you're planning a hike and someone's asking me, how much do I need to prepare and what do I need to do? I would say, prepare as little as you have to. I think if you over plan a year, especially the bigger the challenge and the more you over plan, there's gonna be a lot more room for disappointment. When you're going into a process or a situation and you know that you've thought through things just enough, but your expectation is that you have to continuously pivot and plan and rearrange along the way, you're in more of a mindset to do so. Versus when people make really strict, specific plans for themselves and then they set out to do a long hike, the second that things start going not according to plan, I think that's when a lot of people start to panic. So when I was planning what originally was an 8,400 mile hike, my first thoughts were, okay, what sections of trail are you going to be starting on? And what sections of trail do you want to be on at certain times of year? Trying to gauge a rough estimate of how many miles a day I would have to do to get to certain places. There obviously are hikers who do the calendar year Triple Crown and do it continuously straight through. That is awesome, and it's definitely harder. I think what would be easier about staying on trail would be that you save a lot of money not jumping around, and you also waste a lot of time jumping around. But in the same facet, when you're on trail conditions that are really slow going because of snow or other weather, being able to jump to another section of trail does save you a lot of time and energy, and that's pretty much why I chose to do that last year. And I think if you aren't preparing mentally, you're doing yourself just a huge disservice. So when you're at the gym or you're doing whatever you need to do to prepare physically, you can also be thinking about all of those mental components and your weaknesses. I think it would be great to go through in your own head, really hammer in what you think your weaknesses are. When you are expecting the unexpected and you at least are expecting this crazy, horrible list of things, then it's not gonna hurt as bad.
Just waiting for this rain to stop a little bit.
One of the biggest things for preparation that I did was I was visualizing a year that I was going to be spending primarily alone. A lot of people, when they get out onto even just your standard thru hike, setting expectations is going to make it a more enjoyable experience when certain things arise. So for me, I just kept telling myself, you're going to spend pretty much the entire year alone. I also kept telling myself you're going to be suffering a lot. You're going to be hiking in all of the weather, rain, sleet, snow, extreme heat, freezing cold. You're going to be wet. You're going to be going long periods of time between resupplying and stopping in towns. There's going to be times when you really want to shower or do laundry and you don't have the time to do that. And I'm really glad that I hammered all of that into my mind before I started.
Skaty.
There's a lot of different reasons why people got off trail last year, but one theme that I saw and happened to more than one person was they went out and I think they had the expectation that the hike was going to be relatively social or as social as it could be, and they didn't prepare mentally for extreme solitude and also FOMO. When you're doing a hike like the calendar year Triple Crown or on a really intense time crunch because of a work contract or a visa, you're squishing yourself into a much smaller demographic on trail. There aren't as many people out on trail doing that, and that doesn't mean you're going to be alone. I think a lot of these people wind up finding each other and you link up with a great group that's going your pace and is working around the same time frame and everything that you are. The best thing you can do for yourself is to say, I'm going to be alone all the time. And how do I feel about that? Is that going to upset me? And work through those thoughts, feelings, and emotions before you get on trail.
Okay, y'all. Happy birthday to me.
Obviously, though, preparing mentally is not the only thing. I think preparing physically is probably 50% of the battle. I wound up averaging 27.5 miles a day for the entire year, and that's accounting for every single day off. It's a common misconception that you need to be hiking 20 or 30 miles every single day to go out on trail and be hiking 20 or 30 miles every single day. I think there's ways to prepare for that don't involve dedicating 10 plus hours a day to exercise prior to your thru hike. That's just not something that's always feasible. Really, my main mission when I'm not hiking, if I'm planning another hike, key is to be on your feet as frequently as possible. If you are working a remote job or a job at a desk, I would say get a yoga ball or get a walking pad or a standing desk. You can be on your feet and in an active position for as much as possible. That would be great. And then my main goal was just to be trying to go to the gym 3 times a week. Just as important as training mentally and physically, I would say an even more significant component is going to be strength training and focusing on stretching and other exercises. Work with a physical therapist or a trainer who understands what you're doing. I would recommend Blaze Physio. She is a thru hiker who also helps hikers, and she goes out every year onto the PCT and critically helps hikers dealing with major injury. Pick out different places that I knew I had been weak in the past. My ankles, my hips, I had IT band issues. I tore a muscle in my right calf when I was on the Eastern Continental Trail in 2023. So she did give me different strengthening exercises to work on prior to starting the hike, and different exercises and things that you can do on trail that don't take a ton of time or energy but are really good. That's pretty much it. Every single night in my tent, in a shelter, in a room, wherever I am. Just to loosen and work out those places that you wind up hammering in repeatedly when you're doing the same motion all day long. All right, so you did all of your preparation and everything for your big goal, whatever that may be, and now you're starting your hike. And my top advice for starting your hike would be listen to your body. When I set out at the beginning of January, I knew I had to average about a marathon every single day for the entire year. I've spent enough time on national scenic trails to realize if you go out the gate too hot, you're gonna waste even more time. Another wound. When I was on the PCT in 2022, I got my trail name because I was trying to hike with a bunch of hikers who were stronger than me and had been on trail longer than me, and I wound up injuring myself. This past year, when I was doing the 10,000 mile year, I tried to rush things, I wasn't really listening to my body, and I wound up injuring myself. Basically, in just trying to save time, I wound up wasting weeks of having to heal that injury. And all of that could have been avoided just by listening a little bit more to my body and being a little bit more patient.
I don't know, like, I didn't want to call my parents and be like, I might have stress fractured my thigh, my femur, and just have them be like, oh, well, you need to stop hiking, or you need to take care of yourself, or you need to go to the hospital. It's like, that's just not what I wanted to hear. I wanted to call someone who would be like, who understands that the amount of time and energy I've put into this is like a lot.
There are going to be things that are out of your control. Obstacles are going to slow you down. Your body might slow you down. Being patient and going with the flow is going to pay off in the long run. The way that you allow the things around you to impact you is going to be very important. And I wish when I had first gotten injured, I wish I had just sat down with myself and said, it's okay. Whatever happens, happen. If I have to take a few days off, that's okay. If I have to take a week off, that's okay, because I want this more than that. There are going to be obstacles, things are going to happen that are going to make you question, can I do this? Is this meant to be? Just because you don't understand why something is happening to you or around you doesn't mean that it's not supposed to be happening. You need to just roll with the punches. Just because you think it's not for you doesn't mean it's not for you. Stop resisting. Time saving is the most important thing that you can do. You're going to have to avoid time in town. Whatever that may be, whether that's going in and out of town quickly or not wasting too much time in restaurants. That's my goal when I got into town, was to try to time it so I could just get in and out quickly, or that I would do a really big day and end in town. That's the best case scenario when you do have to charge electronics and do laundry and things like that. That takes a lot of time. It's much easier to do things like that overnight than it is to dedicate 2 to 4 hours to do that in the middle of your day. How do you afford to do something like this? Everyone's life situation is very different, so I can't speak toward what jobs everyone has and what kind of debt they have or kind of things that you own. Best words of advice for trying to make something like this feasible would be save as much money as possible. And when I'm not on trail, I'm probably working 60 hours a week. Also, just trying not to have a lot of vices, not to spend a lot of money, save as much money as possible, spend as little money as possible, calculate what you think you would spend on 1 or 2 or 3 through hikes, or calculate what you think you might spend for that year. And then if it's feasible, I would try to double that budget.
All right, baby.
Why would you want to hike 10,000 miles in a year? Why did I hike 10,000 miles in a year? Should anyone do that? I'm so glad that I hiked for all of 2025. Breaking myself down like that, day in and day out, pushing myself to exhaustion. It brought everything to the surface. I was very tired and open and raw emotionally.
I can't believe I've hiked like 6,000 miles this year.
It might sound crazy, but sometimes it just felt like something was trying to like give me a little nudge or a little wink and be like, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're on the right path.
Today's day 318 of walking across the entire country 3 times in 1 year. The border to border calendar Triple Crown is complete.
Relishing in all of that and embracing all of that, and also just trying to take every day with as much like positive energy and joy as possible was critical for me completing the goal. There were truly times last year and I joked, is that all you got?
Could have seen this coming, huh?
Pushing yourself crazy far past anything you've ever done before was an incredible experience where I really truly feel like I got to have that like personal growth and enlightenment that I think a lot of people are searching for on their thru hikes. If you can imagine all of these different things and variables and things that are going to happen to you, and imagine all of that suffering, and you think to yourself, I really would like to give that a try. I really think I could do that. It's definitely worth trying. Those experiences build your confidence and just grow this strength inside of you that it's hard to explain to anyone who's never experienced it for themselves. So if you have experienced that and you know that feeling, I can only describe it as being, you know, a tenfold version of that, of just by the end of the year, I just really felt like anything could have happened and it would have been fine. I would have found a solution to it. And by the end of the year, I also really believed that anything that happened was meant to happen to me. It was all a part of the journey. Everything that slowed me down, every place that I was brought to that I didn't think I was supposed to be at. Whether you're hiking 50 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, or 10,000 miles, I think that these tips would be helpful to get you there and get you through to the end. So thank you.